doing this as always. It's like a Wednesday ritual. I love this. And you're rocking a new jersey. You want to say what it is? What's happening with that jersey?
Well, I picked her up a few years ago. I was a Patriots fan, all right? I like Gronk.
Yep.
That's my guy. So, seeing this and I was like, "You know what? I don't like Cam Newton, but it's a cool jersey." And, it's got the little flag on there. She's pretty nice.
That is pretty nice. That's got to be like a military thing, because I know I've seen some jerseys that have like the camo or whatever it is. So it
Yeah.
looks nice. It looks nice. And I'm guessing that must be like authentic, because I've never seen the Patriots rock those jerseys. Maybe they've done them for like pregame or something, but I've personally never seen anyone rock those kind of jerseys. That's really unique. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you where I got it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it had like all the right tags and everything. I don't know.
That's
Also,
cool.
quick note.
Yeah.
I know I told you I was gonna have some predictions, notes. Left
Yeah.
it at work.
Oh no.
I was working on it at lunch. Left her at work. So, ain't gonna lie, I got no notes.
Well, you got some mental notes. I'm sure something will pop up
It's
as
it's
we're
all up
going
in
along.
here.
Yeah, exactly. It's all popped through. If you had to take a guess, I know we haven't really been up to date on these in a while, but do you have a rough idea of where you're at, like record-wise, with your picks?
I think I
I think you froze. There you go.
let me check quick.
Yeah.
Back.
Yep.
Wait, hold up. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. I am 153 and whatever losses.
Holy crap. That's amazing. Heading into week, this is 16. Yeah, this is 16. I'm 157 and 67, so I'm 90 games above 500. So even if I tank, even if I tank and go over the rest of the season, I'll still finish above 500. So I'll take that. That's the only thing I was hoping for, was just to finish above 500, and I feel pretty confident that I should be able to, because that's 16, 32, 48 games total left. So yeah, even if I got 48 wrong, I'd still be above 500. So I'll take that all day long.
Money.
All right. Before we get into it, did you have any takeaways from last weekend? What's the one thing that really stands out to you out of all the matchups or all the games?
Well, for anyone who watches and is also a Cleveland Browns fan, I always touch on them because they're my team. Pitiful. What an awful performance. I mean, sickening. I couldn't even watch my own team. Jameis is benched. We'll see what DTR does. He's got the starting role for the week, so on to the draft.
That's all you can really think about. But now, I will say this: you may have lost the battle, or you may have lost the war, but you won the battle because you took out Mahomes. And from a Broncos fan, I am so very grateful for that. So, I mean, it's a yin and yang kind of thing. But whenever I see an injury, yes, you don't like to praise and stuff like that. But I'm a Broncos fan, so if Patrick Mahomes isn't playing this week, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he'll be hobbled for a little bit, but it is what it is. Main takeaway from this previous week, I think the Bills might be favorites. I mean, putting up that many yards and points against that team and still losing? Wolf. Sorry, Lions. That's one of those games where you go to the locker room and how did we lose that game?
Yeah.
It's like when I'm sure you play Madden. You're playing Madden.
Yeah.
And you're up like 17 points at the half.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the game ends and you lost and you're like, huh?
Yep.
That's my takeaway from that game.
That was a pretty wild ride, and I know I've said this before, and I think you agreed as well. But if that would end up being the Super Bowl matchup, that would be unbelievable. It would be an offensive juggernaut.
Oh,
I
it'd
would
be
love to
sweet.
see that. That would be sweet. Obviously, if you're a Lions fan, you're a diehard fan. Your team's never been to the Super Bowl, and obviously the Bills. If you, I didn't watch back in the '90s. I was too young, but 4 straight Super Bowls and 4 straight losses. I'm sure that still stings, even though after it's been 30 years. So I'm sure they want to get back to the big dance and get the W this time. But there's still plenty of football left to decide. For me, last week, Baker's being Baker, man, and I'm sure you're just going to be so upset to hearing that name. And I'm sorry, but man, he's cooking in Tampa. Like, I don't know what it is, but he seems to have found the recipe for success. And I know they're only they have a 1-game lead on Atlanta, but I still think they're the favorite to get the NFC South.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I love Baker. I just hate the Browns for what they did to him. All right? I
Yep.
love Baker. I wish him the best, and I love to see him succeed and the Bucs succeed. So,
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I think that they're definitely winning that division. I don't see why they wouldn't. I really hope Mike Evans gets to 1,000 yards.
That would be unbelievable. He had a pretty good game against the Bucs, and
160.
Deepa is hello. Yeah. So he only needs about 300 yards. Not even 300 yards.
Yeah, he's closing in. He's got 3 games, right?
Yep.
It's doable. It's doable. It just has to be consistent performances. He can't have like a 50-yard game. It's just not going to work.
No.
So, I'm hopeful. Baker knows it though. Mike Evans knows it. Everyone on that team knows it. They're going to be slinging the rock.
If you're a cornerback on the other team, you must be just like,
oh, you're shaking in your boots.
Yeah.
Who do we play this week? The Bucs.
The Buccaneers play Dallas. So.
Ooh, they're gonna have the ball a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. Casual Films, yo. All right, so I don't know. I just said someone, their name is Casual Films. They said yo. I just said yo. Okay, so I know I always say I look forward to a lot of games, but Thursday nights, this is the game for me of the week at least. With the LA Chargers 8-6, they're holding on to the 7th seed, and the number 6 seed, my Denver Broncos, one more win and we're in. And I cannot, I'm so stoked, but at the same time, I don't want to be that optimistic because we could easily lose 3 games in a row because we got 3 very good teams. The Chargers, the Bengals, and obviously the Chiefs to finish off our season. So our schedule isn't easy. So we need this win because I know that, let's just say hypothetically, we beat the Chargers. That means the Bengals, if they win, they're still in the race, which means next week's game against the Bengals is going to be that much more meaningful. So, and I would hate to go into Cincinnati and lose, and then you're back at home against Kansas City because they could still be fighting for that number 1 spot too if they lose this week or next week. So there's no gimmies in the NFL, and for at least for my team schedule, it certainly isn't going to be easy. Now I don't think that this is going to be an easy game. I don't think it's going to be an easy win. I think this is going to be. It's still going to be tight. I'm going to say they pull this one out just by the hair of their chinny chin chin, 27-24.
You know, there's certain times in life when you just have to acknowledge when something is, really good.
Yep.
And this is one of those times, Ian. As much as I don't want to be on your side because that's just not who I am as a football fan. Okay, if you don't like my team, I probably
not gonna like your team.
I'm just gonna be like, I don't want your team to succeed then. That's just the truth. Okay?
Yep,
however, I'm gonna take the Broncos. I don't know really what it is because like last week, Bo Nix throws for 3 picks. It was a rough offensive showing, and they still won. So when this offense is clicking and the defense is clicking, there's not many teams who want to play the Broncos, I would say. If they're on, they're on. Which, to me, I don't know if you want to hear this, makes them a playoff team, but probably a first-round exit.
Yeah.
this year. I can see Nick's developing and, getting more pieces, but I want to see them make the playoffs because if they're on, they could make huge noise. So, as
Well,
much as
remember,
I like Justin Herbert,
yeah.
his receivers just aren't going to get the job done. It's that simple. He just doesn't have the guys to throw to right now. One white boy out the slot ain't gonna fix it. I'm sorry. I love Lad McConkey though.
I think it might be safe to say he's definitely missing Keenan Allen.
Oh man, I miss Keenan Allen on the Chargers. Oh. Anyways, let's go. It's gonna be a good showing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Probably high scoring. Yeah. Let's go high scoring. I'm liking 30 to 24.
30 to 24. Fantastic. All right. So the next matchup, there's actually 2 Saturday games, and I'm going to be working the day shift for those 2 days, so I'll see you around. But
I'll be there.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we'll miss the first game. I might catch the end of the second one, but the Kansas City Chiefs, who we talked about, 13-1 against the 9-5 Houston Texans. Both these teams have won their respective divisions. They're obviously both making the playoffs. At this point, they're just trying to fight for seeding. At this point, I went last time, so I'll give you the floor.
Is there any word? Do we know if Mahomes is playing?
I'm pretty sure he's out because I do remember seeing something that Carson Wentz should get the start. Now, I mean, obviously Mahomes is superhuman, so I wouldn't be surprised if he played in this matchup, but that's going to be a major factor. If he plays, I would give them the advantage. If Carson Wentz gets the start, I think Houston could go for an upset, but what do you think?
It's very simply that simple. If Mahomes plays, they win.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, it's going to be rough. Carson Wentz hasn't played football against an actual live defense in what? A year and a half?
Yeah.
Against another team for a full 60 minutes. He hasn't done it in a long time. And it's just not – you're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw a couple picks here and there. And frankly, the Texans are going to capitalize on that.
Yep.
So I'm going to say I'm just going to go Mahomes doesn't play because they want him to heal up for the last couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Texans win by 10 points. I'm going to go 27-17.
27-17. That's fantastic. I'm also on board with you. I believe Houston could go into Kansas City and pull off an upset. I'm totally on board with you. I mean, there's a reason that the Eagles let Wentz go. There's a reason why he didn't last that long in Washington. He's not consistent enough, and obviously he's injury prone as well. So I'm with you. I don't like. He has shown flashes of good. But as you just said, when's the last time he played a meaningful 60 minutes games? He may have played a snap or two if the other quarterback was resting or if their team had a lead. But I can't tell you the last time he started and finished a game against a competitive team. He may have beaten teams that had below 500 records, but the Texans aren't a joke. Like, the Houston made the playoffs last year. They won the wild card round. They made it to the divisional round. So, I mean, this team is for real. So I can easily see Houston going into here. But I think if they pull this one off, I think it'll be a close one. I put 17-16. I'm going to say it's going to be like a last-second field goal attempt, and they nail it, and sending the Chiefs fans home upset. But, I mean, how upset are you really going to be? You have a 2-game lead, and you're in first place of the AFC. So you can afford to lose a game or two. It's not the end of the world.
True, exactly.
Not the end of the world. The other game has the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this one has a classic written all over it. Anytime the Ravens and Steelers play, in my opinion, it's always coming down to the wire. Oh, my God. It's going to be hard-hitting. They're going to be in each other's faces, screaming, telling each other off. It's going to be an epic showdown. And I'm going to say this right now. Whoever wins this game wins the AFC North. I know the Steelers are currently in that number 1 spot. And if Pittsburgh does happen to go into Pittsburgh and win, or go into Baltimore, I apologize, and win, I think they got that division wrapped up. But if Baltimore wins, ooh, boy, that's going to be interesting because you have 2 games left, respectively, for both these teams. And none of these teams want to finish away. But unfortunately, one of them has to as a wild card team. So I'm going to be bold on this one. I say Baltimore gets this one, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring showdown. I'm even going to be bold and say this goes to overtime, and Lamar gives it to Derrick Henry. He runs it in for the winning score, 35-29.
Ooh, I like the score. I like the score. The score feels good. I'll go around that for the score. Okay. Except I'm going to flip you.
Alrighty.
Here's the thing. Is every time I've watched a Ravens-Steelers game, there seems to be a couple things consistent. Number one, there's always the couple players who are way fed into the rivalry.
Yep.
Right? Just the guys who are out there because they're fighting for their team. And unfortunately for the Ravens, the Steelers have a man by the name of George Pickens, who happens to be possibly the biggest menace I've ever seen. All right, this guy is a freak of nature. He will block you into the back of the end zone and then point at you and laugh in your face. He's mean. He doesn't care. And this is his perfect game. The Steelers need this win. They want this win. He wants to embarrass someone. It's all a recipe for a huge game for Pickens, in my opinion. I think Russ is going to chef up a masterclass tomorrow night. I'm going to go... Let's go 37-33.
37-33. Wow. That would be a wild game. And
70 bomb.
That would be incredible. I mean, both these teams have fantastic offenses, as you talked about. It's no way it's going to be like a 13-10 show. There's not going to be a defensive struggle. It'll be an offensive showdown, to say the least.
Hopefully.
The next one here, now, this one here, oh, man, I don't even want to really talk about this game because I'm a little conflicted on this one. Has the 7-7 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 2-12 New York Giants. And then I just got word this morning about how they're benching Cousins for Perkins, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like
Penix.
That's it for Penix. I apologize. So, and like for the Falcons, like I'm at a loss of words for this team. How often do you go and win a game and then your quarterback gets benched? I've never really heard of that. But I mean, Cousins has played like absolute garbage. He hasn't played that good at all. So I'm surprised. I'll say this: I'm surprised at the move, but I'm not at the same time. Like, this move should have happened 3 or 4 weeks ago, honestly. And then who knows? Maybe they'd be sitting at 8-6. They'd be a lot more competitive. For the Falcons, they're fighting for their 2 playoff positions. One, if they can possibly catch the Bucs, who are only 1 game behind, they obviously have a chance at the AFC South title. And also, they're 2 games behind Washington for the wild card spot. So there's so many options. And I think that NFC South crown is going to come down to like week 17, maybe week 18, depending on how both the Bucs and the Falcons play. But I guess I'll pick the Falcons in this one, but I don't think it's going to be like the game of the week. I don't think it's going to be spectacular. And I've talked so much about the Falcons, and there's very little to say about the Giants. No disrespect to the Giants, but it's just been a pitiful season. I'll say the Falcons win this 20-9.
I like that. And here's the thing. At this point in the season, this is where teams get forgotten. All right?
Yep.
If you're a normal NFL fan, you're not watching Giants games. You're not watching Browns games. You're not watching Raiders games unless they're playing good teams. Right? I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, my God. I've lost my mind. What am I doing? Falcons ain't gonna... no. Man, now I lost my train of thought. What an awful performance. The Falcons have better players than the Giants, straight up.
Yep.
Even though Penix is starting... The Giants, who are they starting? Is it DeVito? Is it Drew Lock?
I would think so. I mean, why would you start Luck? I mean, he hasn't performed that well in the 2 starts that he was with them. So
yeah,
I go to DeVito.
Yeah, so like both teams aren't really going with a reliable guy. We haven't seen a lot of Penix. Maybe he could be, but the Falcons also have a better team overall than the Giants do. So Yeah. Falcons are going to win this one. I'm going to go low scoring. I'm going to go with 13-10.
13-10, fantastic.
I'm going to try to think about where I was going.
I'm sure it'll come back to you at some point. We'll talk about something else. This is what I was trying to say. The next one has the 3-11 Carolina Panthers taking on the 7-7 Arizona Cardinals. If you want to take this lead on this one, go nuts.
Well, my opinion changed on this game very quickly because I seen a post today from Kyler Murray saying that he was going to get Trey McBride in the end zone. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this stat, but Trey McBride has like 95 catches, no touchdowns. The guy hadn't sniffed the end zone all year. Poor fella, all the work, doesn't get the points.
Right.
So if he's getting touchdowns now, he's just going to feel so much better about himself. I love James Conner. I don't know what happened to everyone forgetting about him. Kyler Murray's been playing good. I love Marvin Harrison. Their defense is somehow playing good. I couldn't name more than 5 players on it, but they're playing good. Give me the Cardinals. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to trust in Yoda boy Kyler Murray. Let's go 27-24.
27-24.
At the buzzer.
Wow, that'll be a fantastic game. Now, I think it's bold if you're going to tell like social media or whatever it is and post something saying, I'm going to find this guy in the end zone. That's putting so much pressure on you, a lot more pressure on the receiver, because it's like if he doesn't get a touchdown, you're going to be eating your own words. So I'd be very cautious if I was a player and going on like media and stuff like that, saying, I'll find this guy, I'll find that guy. It's like, no, just if you do, you do. If you don't, then try again next week. So I think that's pretty bold. Again, if it goes through, you look like a god. If you don't, you look, I don't know, not so much at all. So the Cardinals, they're kind of in the same position as the Falcons. They both have the same record. They're both still chasing a playoff spot. The Cardinals, they're also 2 games back of Washington, but they're only 1 game back of the Rams and Seahawks for first place in the NFC West. So I know we talked about how the NFC South has the 2 teams, but the NFC West has 3 teams that are still fighting for a playoff spot. And the worst part is that only one of those teams will likely make the playoffs. I'd be very shocked if Washington lost 2 of the last 3 and say Seattle or the Cardinals won their last 2 of the 3 last games. So this is huge for Arizona. Now, yes, they have been playing well, but they've also been playing poorly at times too. They led the division at one point during the season, and it looked like they could possibly pull off an upset. And now they've fallen from grace, and now they're in 3rd place. So this is a game they need to win if they want to still be competitive, but I think it's still going to be tough for them to overcome. And I've said this several times, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but if you have to rely on other teams ahead of you to lose, and then you need to go ahead of them, like you clearly don't have the right mindset. Your whole mindset should just be win every game. Don't worry about what the outside distractions, because there's always scoreboards and people always are going to have phones or whatever it is, so that you can't avoid it. But if you have the mindset that, if Seattle loses and LA loses, we have a chance. No, you can't think like that. You got to think we got to play 60 minutes of good football. If we win and say the other teams happen to lose, then that's a bonus. But I don't know. For Arizona, this is their season here. If Carolina happens to pull off a W, then I think the Cardinals are for sure done. There's no way that they could come back after being a 7-8 team. So they need this win more than anybody if they want to still be competitive. So I will take Arizona in this matchup. I think it's going to be, what did I write down? I think we're like 17-13. So I think it's also going to be a low-scoring game as well. I don't think it's going to be, or I think it'll be a low-scoring game. You had a high-scoring game. So that's my bad. So Arizona should pull this one off. Now, you're going to think I'm nuts.
I remember what I was saying, by the way. I remember where my train of thought was.
Okay.
It was this simple. All I was talking about was forgotten teams. I don't know how I lost track of it, but forgotten teams like the Giants, the Raiders, the Browns. At this point in the season, nobody cares about them. They're watching to see the teams who are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I was going to say I'm going to take the Falcons because
okay.
I don't really care about the Giants anymore. I don't have much to say about them. Maybe next season I will, or in the off season. As of right now, don't have a lot to say about him.
Nope, not at all.
Was where
And
I
unfortunately, there is a game that I will be talking about later on that's going to be an absolute dud, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So you're going to think I'm absolutely insane for saying this next prediction, but the Chicago Bears are 6-8, and they're taking on the Detroit Lions 12-2. Obviously, Detroit is clearly heavily favored in this matchup. They will come away with the victory. They should come away with the victory, but I'm telling you, Chicago, they got a chip on their shoulder, man. Still from Thanksgiving, and I got a funny feeling Caleb Williams is going to be like, listen, you're in my house now. We're going to do this the way we do, because Detroit's been exposed. I'm not going to lie. They have been exposed after losing badly, not badly, but it was a high-scoring game against the Bills. They have proven that they're more human than not. Now, again, will Chicago win? Unlikely. But I want this to be my one bold prediction of the week. I think it'll be insane. I honestly think this is going to be an overtime game. They lost earlier, like I said, earlier in the season, but I think they have a little bit of redemption, and they pull this one out of their hat somehow, some way. Now that they have a new coach, that they're actually going to use their timeouts responsibly, and I think it'll be a 26-23 overtime win. I hope I'm wrong for all Lions fans out there. I hope I am dead wrong. But again, I want to have at least one crazy prediction for this week, and I'm taking the Bears.
You know, as much as I like that, I disagree, because there is a simple way that this Lions team works. Okay, you lose a game, 99% of the time you're going out the next game and you're putting what I like to call BTA. All right, belt to ass. All right, they are going to be surfing up a whooping, I believe. Caleb Williams, the Bears' offense in the past 3-4 weeks in the first half, booty cheeks. All right, they do nothing. That's where the Lions are going to capitalize. They score points, and they score points fast. That's their brand of offense. Turnover, score. It's that simple for them. I don't really have any other reason to believe that this is any sort of trap game. Yeah, they're coming off a tough loss, man. I just can't see it. As much as it would be cool to see, in my head, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to take the Lions in big fashion. They're probably going to do what they did to the Cowboys earlier in the year when they were doing all the trick plays at the end of the game.
Yep.
That's probably going to happen again. I'm going to go 34-13.
34-13. This will be a blowout. This will be a beatdown on the Bears. Next one has the 6-8 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 3-11 Tennessee Titans. I feel like we both have an idea of who's going to win this game. What?
A thriller.
Who do you got in this one?
The Colts?
Yeah.
I mean, why would I choose otherwise? All right? I've seen zilch out of them. Nothing. I'm going to take the Colts in easy fashion here. I know people hate on him. I love Anthony Richardson. I think he's fun. He just needs to develop, in my opinion.
Of course.
That's true. I ain't no professional analyst, but I think he just needs some time. Maybe another offseason, healthy, gel with the offense, get with the offensive coordinator, develop. But I like the pieces the Colts have. I really like Josh Downs. Love Jonathan Taylor. Pieces are there. I like Alec Pierce, Pittman. Defense is looking relatively good. I like the Colts. Yeah. Let's go. Did you give a score prediction on this one?
No, I'll do mine in a sec.
Probably low scoring. I'm gonna go 16-10.
16-10. Well, I'll say this: I'm definitely picking the Colts. I'll tell my score in just a second. But if you're like Titans management, how much more faith do you put in Will Levis? Like, do you think he's at the end of his rope? Do you give him one more year? Because yes, he's played a couple of seasons, and obviously certain quarterbacks and certain players develop takes longer than other people. But at this point, if I'm in the Titans coaching and management, I'm thinking, let's see if we can find another rookie quarterback. There's got to be another class of quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL draft. But for me personally, if I was a Titans management, I'd be telling Will Levis. I always call him Will Levis, whatever it is. Either way, I'd say, man, like, you are at the end of your rope. Like, if you screw up the next game, or week 18, if for some reason he doesn't get benched the next 3 games, I would be like mind blown. I'd be like dumbfounded because he hasn't proven anything to me. And I still remember earlier in the season when he had like back-to-back games with horrible fumbles, and I think he even threw a backwards pass, and then the player got bumped, and then the other team got it, and you can see the coach yelling at him, like, what the F are you doing? So, like, I'll just say this piece. I'll get your opinion, then I'll say my score. But, like, for me, I think, like, Will Levis is done, and at least in Tennessee.
Oh, done in Tennessee for sure after this year. Maybe a couple. I see him maybe, if they keep him, might get like 4 weeks next year to see if he can prove it. Otherwise, he's gone. Maybe a change of scenery is for the best. The funniest thing about it to me is his ex-girlfriend was at that game. Everyone was posting about it. This guy went out there, had his ex-girlfriend watching him, and he threw 3 picks and got benched. Like, look what you're missing out on. Well,
I mean, if you can't show up against your ex, I mean, that just shows that you're mentally you're just shot right there.
Yeah, you got to dial in on.
Yes. Yeah, so it's definitely a mind game to say the least. And I'm going to take the Colts, like I said at the start. I think it'll be a low-scoring game as you did, but I'm going to say there's going to be 1-point differential between our picks. I think it's going to be a 16-9 game, and I think Jonathan Taylor will score, hold on to the football this time, and then before he crosses the end zone, because, man, like, that's such a hiccup. And I know we talked about this face-to-face, but, like, that's so close. I remember when I saw the Bengals defender cross the goal line, you could see him fumbling the ball. That looked like a for sure like messed up. But like with the Taylor one, like even if you watch it from so many different angles, it's so hard to tell because it looks like his foot is about to be in the end zone as the football is coming out. So I thought that was really close. And honestly, even if they didn't count that, what's that?
It doesn't matter for your foot. It has to be the ball.
Right. So I mean, we're not football players, we're not football experts, but I mean, if there's an end zone, there's a line, and you got to cross that line before you can let go of the ball. I'll just say this, okay? If I was playing football, I would hold on to that football until I got to my end, or my side of the field, and then maybe hand it off to like a coaching staff or something like that. I'm not letting that go because because there's so many different angles, and like if they find just the tiniest little bit of proof that you fumbled that. Like, I would be holding on to that like glue, like have 2 arms wrapped around. Like, I wouldn't even want to, like, hold like a baby, man. Just don't let it go.
Literally. We got 2-hander right here.
Put it right there. All right, so we will take the Colts. The next one has the 4-10 New York Jets taking on the 8-6 Los Angeles Rams. I've said so much about New York. I'm not even going to give them the time of day anymore, so I'm already done with them. For the Rams, I got to say, what an impressive turnaround it has been. After they started off 1-4, and now they're 8-6. They basically went 7-2 over the last 9 games, which is crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got the NFC West. Yes, the Seahawks are right on their tail with the exact same record, but I think if the Rams pull this one off and say Seahawks happen to lose, I'd give them a 2-game cushion with 2 games remaining. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams pulled this one off. I'll give them the edge. I think the Jets might put up a bit of a fight, but at the same time, 28-20 will be my prediction for the Rams.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm done talking about the Jets. If someone asks me about them, I don't answer. All right. Rodgers is on his way out. Get him gone. Sure.
Yeah.
Get somebody else in there. I'm sick of the Jets. I am.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very simple. I love the I think they're just like the Broncos on like the sense that when they're on, and they're very dangerous when they're on. And I think that they'd be another fun team in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Take the Rams, easy fashion in this one, 27-13.
27-13, fantastic. So you don't think Adams is going to have like a $200 or 200-yard game?
I'm sick of it.
I hear you. I hear you. Just garbage, man. Like they got to clean house and start all over again. They've done so much and they've had very little success.
Yeah.
The next one, this will decide the NFC East as the Washington Commanders 9-5 take on the 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, if Philadelphia wins, they'll clinch that division. They've already clinched the playoff spot, and they should get the NFC East crown. I'd be very surprised if they went on a 3-game losing streak. But again, they went on like a 5-game losing streak last year. But I feel like this is a different Eagles team compared to last year, and there really haven't been that many big changes in the organization, whether it's management, coaching, or player-wise. It's a lot of the same players and faces from last year, so maybe they've just matured over the last year. I don't know what it is, but I want to get your take first before I make my score prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Hold up, one sec. I'm getting a phone call. Are we good?
We're good. Back? You're back.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Hey! We're here. My apologies.
You're good.
Anyways, you're 100% right. This Eagles team is very different. There was that report that came out a couple weeks back where they were talking about how A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, trouble in paradise or whatever you want to say. I just don't see it anymore. Their last week looked great. Saquon's amazing. Their offense is playing out of this world. Their O-line's great. Their defense is making plays when they have to. Defense is very bend, don't break. But that's a fine way to play defense if your offense is putting up the points. So, as much as I love the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, I'm sorry, but the Commanders just aren't built for a game like this.
No.
There's missing pieces in too many places. So, I'm going to give the Eagles on this, the win on this one, take the division. I'm going to go 28-25.
28-25. It will be a high-scoring game. The worst part is that if you're a Commanders fan, if you do lose this game, this could possibly, depending on where the Eagles finish, this could possibly be a preview of a wild card round too. If Detroit gets number one, obviously, either Detroit or Philly are finishing 1 and 2. Nobody else is catching up to them. So if you're a Commanders fan and you lose this game at home, how much faith do you have going into Philly in a playoff environment with that crowd and all that pressure? This is huge. I mean, if you're a Commanders fan, you want this game to win, then you could possibly push yourself up to that 6th seed. But if you finish as a number 7 seed, it's like 90% chance you're taking on your division opponent in that first round. So I'm with you. I give the Eagles the edge. I think it'll also be a high-scoring game. I'm going to say 35-31 in favor of Philly, and they should be able to capture, like I said, the NFC East title. The next one, I'll dive into this quick, and then I'll let you have the floor. I'm sure you want to just skip this one if it's at all possible, as the Bengals are 6-8 taking on your Cleveland Browns 3-11. I'll say this before I even make my bold prediction. If the Chargers win, I apologize, tomorrow night, then the Bengals season and the Colts season, it's done. Sunday will be absolutely meaningless in Ohio if the Chargers pull off a victory on Thursday. However, if Denver happens to win, which I love, and I'm fingers crossed, then obviously Cincinnati still will be playing for their playoff lives. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they're making the playoffs. I really don't. I find it hard to believe that even though the Chargers are a little inconsistent, I don't see them losing 3 games in a row. I don't see the Bengals winning 3 games in a row. And I certainly don't see the Colts or the Dolphins, who we'll talk about here in just a second. I don't see any team winning 3 games in a row. I could see them winning 2 to 3, 1 out of 3, but I'd be very surprised if the Bengals won 3 in a row and the Chargers fell out of the playoff spot. So I think they're playing more for pride at this point.
Yeah.
I'll give them an edge only because, like you said, the Browns have been devastated all season with injuries and inconsistency. But I just think, even if the Chargers do lose and the Bengals still win, there's still going to be a game behind them or 2 games behind them. So I still think it's going to be very tough for them to overcome this deficit. So I'll give them the edge. I'll say maybe 21-13, but I don't think it's going to be that exciting of a game. Again, if you're a Bengals fan, you're probably just sick to your stomach because they've had a good season, but they just haven't had that good of a defense. So,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is I believe I have yet to pick against the Browns this year. And I ain't going to start now. Okay? We're going to win this game? No. Absolutely not. But boy, oh boy, I hope we do.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So I'm going to take the Browns. I don't got
Okay.
much to say about the Bengals. They're the same thing week in, week out. Great offensive showing. Why ain't they winning? We don't know. So give me the Brownies, all right?
All right.
The dog pound.
The dog pound.
18-15.
18-15.
Weird scores.
Oh man, if they go into Cincinnati and pull this one off and say they still are mathematically alive, you imagine losing to not only your division opponent but your state rival?
Just to
oh my god, that would be epic.
Oh, what a dream. That'd be sweet.
Because, like as you said before, the Browns have nothing to play for. So if they can play spoiler, oh my god, that would be unbelievable. Just to see Joe Burrow's face on the sideline, just miserable, knowing he's not making the postseason.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
That would be beautiful. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more games to go. The Seattle Seahawks 8-6 taking on the 12-2 Minnesota Vikings. This could be a crazy game. I know who I'm picking, but I think I talked the last time first, so I'll give you the floor on this one.
This is going to be an offensive showdown. Absolute. That would have been a very rude joke. I'm not going to say that. Okay, it's going to be hellfire. All right, this is going to make a war look like a playground. Okay, the amount of bombs that are going to be flying. Okay, it's literally just going to be moonball after moonball, and I can't wait to watch it happen. DK, Jefferson, Addison, and Smith and Jigba, all 4 of them nuclear. Put them down, 75 yards each at least.
Ooh.
I like it. Both running backs, I think, are going to do nothing. I think it's just going to be a gun show. I really do.
So you think it'll be a lot of play action then?
A lot of play action, a lot of shotgun, probably a lot of those little that get registered passes. You know, just like little chest passes.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who do I think's going to come out though? Here's the thing: is Jefferson is just so much better than all of the other guys I just listed.
Guy's a freak of nature, man.
And Hawkinson is better than Fant, that's for sure. So, yeah, better built to win a game like this is the Vikings. The record shows it. They're a great team.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Vikings, big score. Let's go 37-33.
37-33. Fantastic.
No, 37-30 flat.
37-30. Okay, sounds good. The crazy thing about this is that depending on who comes out of the NFC West, if Seattle pulls this one off, this could be a preview of the wild card round because depending on where Tampa finishes, because the NFC West and the NFC South, both of those are going to be 3rd and 4th respectively. Because we talked about this before, that the NFC North and the NFC East, that they're already locked in at the number 1 and 2 spots respectively. This could be a preview of what's to come. Or obviously, if the Rams pull this one off, then obviously that they would take the seed as well. So I think this is going to be a big showdown. My only question is Geno healthy enough? Because he did get knocked out of the game last week against the Packers. So if he doesn't play, I think Seattle will be at a disadvantage. Not trying to disrespect their backup, but if I'm looking at the quarterback position, and I never thought I'd ever say this, and Sam Darnold is the better quarterback coming into this matchup. The guy's having an unbelievable season, and even when I was watching the game, just a little bit on Monday, they were talking about that if he gets an extension, he could be looking at over $100 million contract.
Oh, easy. His contract's probably going to be 3-year, 120 is my guess.
That's crazy. And the Minnesota, they're still playing for the NFC North too. So it's just, I think it's, I know there's been so many times where people have complained about a team that has a better record. They have to go into someone that has a lesser record, but unfortunately, that's just the way the NFL works. And like, yes, you have a poor division and they have less wins than you, but imagine finishing with 12 or 13 wins and you have to start away from home. That's crazy. But again, that's just the way the NFL works. So the Vikings, they want this win because they want to have home field advantage, because even if they win and Detroit wins, that would put them at 13 wins, and they could still finish at the number 5 spot, which is crazy.
Yep.
Oh, man. And the best part is, if that Minnesota and Detroit have the same record going into Week 18, that I guarantee right now there's no schedule for Sunday night for the Week 18. That will be the Sunday night matchup. I guarantee for the NFC North. I will bet my life that will be the game that gets rescheduled to Sunday night. So I take the Vikings in this matchup. I think it'll be 28-20. Just an unbelievable season. I can't believe how strong the NFC North is, and the Packers, who we'll talk about here in just a second. There could be 3 teams in the NFC North that make the playoffs. It's so close. It's unbelievable. The Buffalo Bills, 11-3. They obviously secured the AFC East, taking on the 3-11 New England Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots are pulling this one off. Not. The Bills got this all day. We've talked about this before. Josh Allen's a freak of nature. He will be the MVP. No one even comes close to him. The guy can run the ball. He can throw the ball. And the one thing that stands out to me this season, I mean, I'm sure you probably saw the highlight, was when he threw to Cooper, and then Cooper got stuck. He couldn't move, and then Cooper just shuffled the pass to Josh Allen, and then he grabbed it and ran it in for an amazing touchdown run. So the guy's a freak of nature, and I think the Bills should be favorites, and not only to win the game, but they should be favorites to get to the Super Bowl. I don't care if they have to go into Kansas City, whatever it is, for an AFC Championship game. I think this team is so much better. And they're hungry. Like, they want to take that next step. They don't want to just make the playoffs. They don't want to just win in a wild card round. They want to go all the way to the conference championship or better. So I got the Bills all day in this one. I think they put up 40 bird on the Patriots. I think it'll be 42-17. I say Josh Allen runs for 2 rushing touchdowns, has 3 receiving touchdowns, and then whoever the running back is, Cook, if I'm not mistaken, he gets a running touchdown as well. They'll be mopping the floor. If there's any Patriots fans in the stands, they'll be gone by halftime.
Hey, I do a little bit of film study in my off time, and I came across this one play from this previous week of Josh Allen, where he is going this way. His receiver's downfield coming this way, and he throws it this way. If he's throwing this ball here, all right, that's not a comfortable place to throw. I don't know if many of you have played baseball or if you've thrown sidearm before. It doesn't feel great if you don't do it right or naturally. Some people have a natural sidearm, just how they throw.
Yep.
Don't do that and you're forcing it. It ain't easy, okay? It's just not. That didn't look natural one bit, and he pulled it off. It was one of the wildest throws I've ever seen. So, I mean, this guy's not human.
No.
I'm gonna up you. We're going Fitty Burger, okay? Fitty Burger to 23.
50-23. Wow, that would be an epic one, man. This team is just they're scary, and
they're so fun.
My biggest fear would be if you go into Buffalo and play a playoff game, you might as well just pack your bags. No, there's no point in even attempting to go at it because they live for the cold. I mean, the game against the 49ers, it was a snowstorm, and it looked like the 49ers practice squad was on the field, for God's sakes. So
literally,
they're a scary team, and I'd hate to play against them. Now, the games I talked about, this one here, if we could just have like a skip button or like a fast forward to the end, I would press it because I have no intention of watching this game. The Las Vegas Raiders 2-12 taking on the 3-11 Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't even want to talk about this game. This is going to be, I guarantee this will be the least watched game of the entire weekend, unless you're a diehard Jags fan or a diehard Raiders fan.
Game.
What's that?
Where do I sign up to watch this game? I'm very intrigued.
There's a sheet just posted on the wall. The first 100 people they'll get their money back.
Okay.
Oh man, like there really isn't much to say about these teams. Obviously, both these teams are struggling. Both these teams are probably dying to get that number 1 overall pick. I really don't have much to say about this matchup. I really don't. If I had to give the edge, maybe the Jaguars, because I don't even think the Vegas Raiders put a touchdown against the Falcons last week. So, yeah, I got nothing really to say. I think it'll be 13-10. I really wish I had more to talk about, but both these teams suck.
Well, here's the thing, is I lost all faith in the Raiders last week when I decided that I would be, sometimes sometimes I dabble in a little gambling on that, little dabbling here and there. And I decided it was a bright idea to take some Brock Bowers receiving yards. And I proceeded to watch a Raiders game, right? I wanted to see
Yep.
how this played out. Didn't throw him the ball. This offense is 3-yard checkdowns or a 20-yard chuck downfield, and you're praying for the best. Nothing else. They have no rhythm. It's so choppy. It's like you're watching a VHS tape that has a little bit of burnt out spots throughout it. You know what I'm talking? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Read those little black spots, and you're like, sure. Oh, it's pitiful. Oh, man, I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, their offense is just atrocious. I don't know who's calling I don't know who their coordinator is or who calls the offense, but fire them. Gone. Somebody ain't doing their job.
Nope.
In theory, the Jags are the way better team, so I'm going to take them based off that principle. I don't consider these teams. They're not enjoyable to me. Let's go. Low score. I want to go really bad. 9-7.
9-7. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, this is just an atrocious matchup. I guarantee if the NFL had known about this schedule, they would have just given these two teams a bye week. I guarantee they wouldn't have had this team slated to play in week number 16. What is next? This one here could obviously decide the fate of either team if they were to make a playoff push. The San Francisco 49ers, a pitiful season, 6-8, taking on the 6-8 Miami Dolphins.
This isn't the Sunday nighter, is it?
No, the Sunday night matchup is the next game.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was going to say, please tell me I have to watch this on Sunday Night Football. Oh. Wow.
Who do you got? Or do you have much to really talk about with the Dolphins or the 49ers?
It's so tough because I don't know if you watched the Niners game last week, but their defense played really good when the players were on the field. Greenlaw came back. When he was on the field, they played insane. He brings such a fire to that team. I can't wait to watch him next year, personally, but this year's kind of a wash. I think somehow, some way, the Dolphins have more life in them than the Niners do right now. Yeah, I'm going to take the team full of speed, I think. I think this is the one game where they just explode when they're not supposed to for like 500 total yards on offense. Just something silly like that.
Yep.
Probably actually going to be lower scoring than you think. I think it's just a lot of offense but stupid turnovers. Let's go 24-20.
24-20.
24-20.
That sounds about good. If I had to put money on one team to possibly make the playoffs, even though at this point I don't think either the 49ers or the Dolphins will be making it, I got a little bit more faith in the Dolphins, only because the 49ers, they've just been plagued with injuries all season. Obviously losing McCaffrey and not having a lot of their players from their starting roster, it definitely kills you. Obviously, there's always the next man up mentality, but when a good star player goes down, whether it's on offense or defense, it's hard to replace them. Like it's not an easy task. I'll give the Dolphins the edge in this one. I think it'll be 23-15, but I don't know. I mean, you just finished talking about how great the 49ers defense is. So, I mean, if the defense shows up, they could possibly come away with the victory, but I got a little bit more faith in Tua and Tyreek to take over this game. So I'm with you. I think the Dolphins pull this one off. Now the Sunday night matchup, only 2 games remaining, has the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, 6-8, taking on the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa's got this one in the bag. I think Evans goes for over 100 yards, maybe even $150, just to pull within, that 1,000-yard receiving mark, which he's been so dominant about through his entire NFL career. So I think that the Tampa Bay gets this one. They should improve to 9-6, ending the Cowboys' chance of making the playoffs. Just to see Jerry's scowl look on the big screen would make my night.
Jerry must go, all right? He must go. I'm sick of it. I don't like. I used to enjoy watching Cowboys games. Like,
Yeah.
I personally loved Ezekiel Elliott. Probably my favorite player of the 2010s, other than Gronk. I loved watching him play for
Yep.
no reason. I don't know. He just fun guy to watch. Anyways, all of a sudden, Jerry Jones has lost his brain. The guy, first of all, won't even put curtains up for his own players. Like, these guys can't see the ball coming, and you're like, nah, don't put the blinds up. At least do it when you're facing them. Just
Exactly.
you. It is $1 billion stadium, or however much it costs to make, and you can't install curtains. It's just, I'm sick of the Cowboys. I want nothing more than to see a bake show on Sunday night.
I'm with you.
I'm going Mike Evans, 175,
Ooh,
3 tutties.
2 tutties.
Yeah, three of them.
Three touchdowns. Ooh, man.
Baker's gonna have a rushing touchdown in this one too. I'm gonna go
4 touchdowns.
36 to 20.
20, fantastic. And the last game takes place on Monday when we have the Green Bay Packers 10-4, and they are playing host to the New Orleans Saints 5-9. So I'm really glad we actually had a chance to talk face to face with it, because I remember I was so confused. I was like, how the hell are the Saints still alive? But then you said that because they mathematically could possibly catch up to Baker and the Bucs.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Let's honestly, stop the fantasy world. There's no way the Saints are winning 3 in a row. There's no way the Bucs are losing 3 in a row. And more importantly, there's no way the Falcons are winning going 1-2 over that 3-game span. So for the Saints, if you think you mathematically have a chance, wake up. Let's be realistic. You're 3 games below 500 with 3 games to go. At best, you'll finish 8-8. You ain't getting in the playoffs. Not even as a wild card team. Like you're not catching the Commanders. So let's just stop the whole virtual reality. Let's go to reality. You ain't getting in the playoffs. So I don't even think they're going to go into Green Bay and pull off a win. I mean, it's tough to win at Lambeau. I mean, other teams have tried, but they haven't really had that much success. And I will say this as a quick little side note before I make my bold prediction. Green Bay, I know it's been a long time, but whoever their quarterback scouts are, from Favre to Rodgers to Love, I know it wasn't the same person, but man, do they deserve a raise? I think they do, if they didn't get one already. It's a freak.
The scouting department, bump them up.
No kidding. Whatever the hell they're making for salary, double it, man. Love is going to be their starting quarterback for the next 10 years, easily.
Oh, easily.
And then once his time comes up, I guarantee they'll find somebody else to replace him. It's so crazy that when you think of how many teams have had quarterback changes and then how they've regressed and they've gotten worse. But for Green Bay, they seem to just get better and better and better. And then you look at any other division. If you're 10-4, you're probably beating that division. But the NFC North is just so stacked that they are unfortunate they will finish as a wild card team. I'd be very shocked if they bumped the Lions out of that top spot, because they're 3 games behind them, I think, or 2 games behind them, if I'm not mistaken. So, Green Bay got this all wrapped up, and then they'll have a pretty little bow at the end of this game with a playoff bracket beside their name.
Exactly. And I mean, look, I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things in football is what you said, how certain teams just historically have great players at one specific position. Packers, quarterback, right? If I think of the Texans, receiver, Andre Johnson, D-Hop, now you got Nico Collins coming up. I love seeing teams who just historically have one really good position. That's fun to me.
Yep.
But, back to the games here. The Saints aren't winning another game this year. All right, I'm sorry to tell you that, but they're just not going to. So, I mean, that pretty much answers what I'm going to say here. The Packers in this one. It'll be a pretty good showing for them, probably a little bit run heavy. I'm going to go 18-12.
18-12. Cool. Actually, I forgot to say, I forgot to say my score. I think it'll be 27-12. So I think I think the Saints get 4 field goals. I'm with you on that one, but yeah, they ain't getting that far. And honestly, I would rather tank the rest of the year and get a better pick, because if what happens if you win 1 or 2 more games, then you're at like the middle of the pack with a draft pick, and it's not too often you can trade up. So
True, exactly.
wicked. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this as always. And unless plans happen to change, we'll definitely do this again next Wednesday. See how we did with our Week 16 picks. And as we get closer and closer
That's
to the
Christmas.
postseason, what's up?
Well, next Wednesday's Christmas Day.
All right, Gay. We'll do it 2 weeks then. 2 weeks from now.
What are you doing on Monday?
This upcoming Monday?
Yeah.
Nothing, but we'll have to wait until the Monday night game is over, won't we?
Yeah,
Okay.
but no, I work at whatever on Tuesday. It's Christmas Eve, so I'll be working.
Okay. Well, then let's do it Monday.
And predict the games for the week on Monday night after the game.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then this way we won't have to worry about doing. I totally forgot. I blanked out. The year's going by so fast. It's December, really? Oh shit.
Christmas is.
Yeah, we'll do it. Christmas is around the corner. Damn. Yeah, we'll do it Monday after the game, and then we'll do our review, and then maybe do our preview for week number 17. So yeah, Monday nights we'll make that work.
Sounds good to me.
Wicked, buddy. As always, thank you so much for doing this, and we'll see you around.
Yes, sounds good. See ya.
See you, buddy.